Hi, I'm Melinda Dawn, your host of Unapologetically Yours, and I give with my whole heart so others can show up as their true selves, loved without limits. Today, I'm going to be sharing my Toastmaster speech. The only parameter was that it be 5 to 7 minutes and that the topic was New Year's. So, here we go. Good afternoon and happy 2026, fellow Toastmasters and our esteemed guests. Each new year, adults across the globe make a pact, a New Year's resolution. Their hope is to bring change, to be different, to try something new, to stop something old, to lose something unwanted, and gain something desired. For some, possibly many, these pacts rarely last more than a few weeks. Sometimes, change requires more than a once per year stated commitment. Sometimes, that commitment requires daily action and daily intention. Another common practice that I've seen over the last couple decades is men and women selecting a word or phrase that represents the new year. In the past, I've come up with words too, like peace, friendship, family, forgiveness. These words are an overall declaration of what one might pursue or expect of that new year. I have seen a lot more fruition with those words and phrases than the typical New Year's resolution. This year, holding to the new tradition, my phrase, chosen just this morning in preparation for my speech today, is presence over perfection. It is a theme that I've adopted and adapted to my way of life, which first came up last year, mostly to rid myself of the burden of perfectionism. 2, it is a way to connect and remain in the now, to connect with each moment and each person I engage with, even each task that requires my attention. Which brings me to my self-diagnosis. I identify as a person who is ADHD. As such, I find a lot of humor and have even felt relief in the many videos that are out there regarding all things ADHD and ADHD. Sometimes I feel two things simultaneously. I feel seen and attacked. One such video includes someone tethering themselves to the dishwasher with a long rope because if you're anything like me and you start in the kitchen to do the dishes, what you'll find is something in that area does not belong in the kitchen. So what will you do? You're gonna, let's call it a brush, though there shouldn't be a hairbrush on the kitchen counter, but let's just say it's a hairbrush. So you're gonna take that brush to the bathroom and put it in the drawer. And then you might see something else there on the counter. Oh, let me just clean up this sink real quick. Let me wipe it down. So you do that. And then as you are walking back to the kitchen, you notice that the light's on in the living room. So you go in there and you're like, oh my gosh, there's laundry that I didn't finish. So you start folding that real quick, and underneath one of the piles is a cup. Where does that cup belong? Back in the kitchen where the dishes are waiting for you. So that's my life. And I am scrolling my notes. So back to my theme for 2026. For me, presence over perfection requires intentionality, forethought, planning, and even moment by moment reminders. Like when I'm with my children, they definitely need me in the now. They need me consumed by them, their thoughts, their desires, their words, and their activity. They need me to join them in their play, whether it's getting down on the floor to scroll cars around, move cars around, or play with slime at the table, or climbing at a jungle gym. The last thing they need is for my attention to be split. And the worst way it could be split is to my mobile device. So, checking emails, sending a quick text, or God forbid, I get a phone call, all bets are off and it's mommy, 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 mommy. But me being intentional about that presence provides a level of care and intimacy that will be remembered for a lifetime, while the lack of presence could alternatively provide years of silent yearning and regret and many hours in therapy. Presence over perfection calls me higher in other relationships too, including the one with myself. I'm learning to not only accept my own mistakes, but take delight in them. I've been tasked by a friend to at least make 10 mistakes per day. Her theory is that the more mistakes you make, the closer to success you will be. She said the difference between those who are highly successful and those who aren't is the former made a lot more mistakes. So I'm trying out her theory. Last night, I asked my husband, my other most important relationship, for a moment of his presence, even though he was tired. I sat down in front of him in our room, looked into his fatigued eyes to say, I'm sorry, to own my mistakes with him. I admitted my fears that often drive me to worry, which lead me to pursue control. And in that endeavor, I often find myself trying to manage him. And that is not fun for him. With tears in my eyes, I gave my apology and declared that I would do better, be better, and that I would let go of that version of myself. This too must be an intentional move. It takes practice, and it will include mistakes along the way. If you're not careful, it is so easy to fall into old patterns, ones that you're used to, ones that you may even define yourself by. Like when you say things like, I'm not good with names, or that's just the way that I am, or I'm really bad at math. When you choose to identify yourself with those phrases, you are teaching yourself change is not possible, but all it takes is a decision, a thought to be better, do better, and act better. I watched a video clip of Erykah Badu this morning. In it, she said these words: I had to leave some things behind, some parts of me behind, so it felt like a funeral of sorts, because a part of you has to die every time you evolve. You gotta leave it back there. You want it because it's familiar. A lot of times, we like to resort to the familiar, even if it's toxic. So you have to leave that corpse, that beautiful old you, has to be left, and you have to walk forward and not look back. That's the hardest part. Not leaving the people, but it's leaving your old ways and you. So today, I choose to not look back. I choose to let the old self, my most beautiful former self, to die so that my new self can emerge even more beautiful, even more capable of the presence I and those I love deserve. Today, I'm saying yes and invite you to do the same. Say yes. Y-E-S. Y is for yesterday. Yesterday is gone, so seize today while you can. E is for every. Every mistake brings you closer to your success. And S is stay. Stay in the now. Your former and future selves are cheering you on. Thank you. So that was my speech. And they didn't record it. They would like me to perform it again. But I decided, let me put it on my podcast. So there you go. The turnout wasn't big today. People had appointments, all different kinds of stuff. One of my friends was not feeling well. Another one was in a Bible study. So my cousin couldn't make it either. But two very important men were on that call with me and got to watch and hear me speak. And that was my husband and my dad. So that was really nice. One of the ladies in our group, Lisa, who is such a delight, she gave me great feedback. And she's actually the reason that I have that YES acronym at the bottom. What do you think? It was put together just very quickly right before I pressed record on this. I wrote it down. I was like, what word could I use something like quick, whatever. So I tried that. I might come up with a more clever word, maybe, or maybe not. She told me that I could absolutely do this speech on a big stage. Obviously, it would need to be lengthened more, maybe more acronyms, and more, I don't know, calls to action, and maybe more examples. I don't know. So it is 5:37, and in less than an hour, I have my second full-fledged call with a woman. I think her name is Amanda, maybe. A couple days ago, I had my first totally solo by myself. Nobody got on the call. And it was fascinating. It was great practice. I had gotten some tips beforehand to help with my execution, ultimately holding my frame. So I'm practicing right now. It was a little easy to do that whilst reading, but I have found, as I shared before, one of my calls, I was in a swivel chair. So I was like moving with the chair, so that's a no-no. So, um, yeah, my second call, I'm just trying to think. Maybe my second call was a short call. I'm trying to remember. Maybe it was her. I don't know. I'm getting so confused now. I don't know how many I've done, but one of them, I basically had like a purple wall background, and you could see like the outlet right behind me, and I was like, oh, this is so awful. I forgot the background. So I have this beautiful Shea Better coaching background, which is lovely. So I will not forget that today. What else? So I'm going to print out. No, I just need paper. I need paper to take notes when I ask questions. I'll have my script like up here. So I'll be close to the light. I feel like a flight attendant. Windows, doors. I almost pursued a career as a flight attendant years ago, but then, and with no background as a server, I decided not to do that because that's ultimately what it was for me, and I was not interested. No offense, because I love servers. I love how amazing you guys are to meet the needs to remember all of the things. I could be a great server. I also thought when I was in my early 20s, I thought about being a server at Hooters. That would not have flown, that would not fly with my church group at the time. But I was thinking I could totally do it because guess what? Yeah, you got short shorts, but you know what else you got? You got tight tights, and it like sucks up all the cellulite. So I was thinking about them big tips. I did not do it. Okay, so what else? Print paper, read over the script. Oh yes, zip myself up. Have I told y'all about the zip up? So there's multiple ways of doing it, but you can just take a zipper, right? And then from behind, zoop, you can put the key in your heart. You can sort of like do, I don't know, a circle around you. You can think of this beautiful pink light coming from your heart, emanating from your heart, and getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and putting yourself inside of it and growing it bigger, right? Expanding you. And then you can do stuff like, and yes, auras are real, and apparently there's like multiple layers. Some people say 7, some people say 15. I'm sure some people have another bigger number, but you can like fluff it out, and just get love and peace and calm. And so I will be steadying myself before each of my calls and being intentional, giving my full attention and presence to the woman before me, asking her to do the same. I am allowed to take notes. She is not, because she can't be in here. She needs to be in here, where I'm going to get her in touch with her feelings and get her in touch with the stories that are there, so that we can lead her to a brighter future, which requires dying of the old self. And a not unfamiliar idea in religion, at least with Christianity. There's a call to die to yourself. There's a call in baptism where there's symbolism of death, going into the grave and then being resurrected. And as my speech touched on, dying to that self so you don't repeat those old patterns. And sometimes, and I read this somewhere and it was so beautiful, I heard it, or I could have actually created it myself because I'm that brilliant. It's, you hear that old voice, right? That inner dialogue, and it's telling you the old thing, the familiar thing, the thing that your body thinks is safe, but really it's just an echo. It's an echo of the past that you can ignore, that you can just, nope, it's not for you. You had your time. So that's ultimately what we're inviting women to do, is to close the chapters of their lives where they did not come first, where their presence didn't matter, where they were not chosen, and to make room for love, to make room for healing, to make room for decisions that will change the trajectory of their lives. And again, it just starts with them choosing themselves, saying yes. Yesterday is gone, so focus on today. Every mistake brings you closer to your success, and stay in the now. So the programs that Shay offers help women to do just those things and more and beyond. But in the now, they're learning new tools and they're falling in love with themselves, which is the most glorious, beautiful thing I think that anyone can do, really, because it is such an expansive thing. When you love yourself, you are open to receiving more love, and you know what love looks like and you know what it feels like. And so when someone else matches that frequency, that vibration, that energy, whatever you want to call it, you know it's right, you know it's love, and it encourages and inspires. So yeah. uh has got to go from my speeches. Toastmasters will get me to stop with the filler words, the you knows, and the yeahs, and the people use all different kinds of stuff for fillers, but that's going to come out. But I am brandy new to Toastmasters, so that's that. I'm excited about just all of the things and the intentionality that it takes to do what I'm doing just each and every day, to be a wife. It didn't make it into my speech because there really wasn't enough time. I wrote it today, but women are well aware, and should I expand that speech? Women are well aware of how we can be distracted and not in the now, even in a conversation or a more special moment with your partner, right? Like you're thinking about bills potentially, or, the to-do list or the grocery list. You're like making a list. There are ways that I will not discuss that can help with that. But I think one of the biggest ones is having a safe, secure connection with your partner. And that requires work on both parts, right? It requires openness, it requires communication, communicating expectations, feelings, good, bad, ugly, everything in between. It requires, the word intentionality. It just does. Huh. Yeah. I haven't struggled with being somewhere else during communication times. That's good. Something's going good. Okay, moving on from that awkwardness. Got my call. It's 5:47. So I've got about 45 minutes. I didn't tell you that I recorded myself yesterday in the car. I came up with a hack because the car was like messy. And so I went on Zoom and then I did a video and I recorded myself. Somehow the audio part didn't connect, even though I chose use microphone. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to play around with that. But I did like a 20-minute, 25-minute video. I'm trying to think of what I talked about. So my background was like the world. So I was out of this world. Ah. I tickle myself. Um, all right. I'm trying to think of what I know what I talked about UPS and how they done took so much of my money lying. So I delivered um, a few books. No, I not delivered. I did deliver one book. That was also in my episode. Okay. I mailed out 3 packages, but I went to the UPS store first, got the pricing, and I asked for quotes for USPS, and which historically has always been higher, so then I've just stayed at UPS. I do like the convenience of you put your number, they type in your number, they got your name, address. If you've mailed to the person before, it's automatic. Bingity boggity boomity. That's not a thing, but whatever. Bippity bop boop. And you go about your business. You don't have to write anything out because it's all printed on the label. You get the tracking thing automatically. It's nice, right? So this guy tells me, and he's the first one to admit it, our pricing is incorrect. It's going to show that it's overpriced because it includes some other fees. So the only way, excuse me, to get an accurate quote is to what? Is to go to USPS. So I got my quotes, I was like, oh, I could do it. And then I remembered in the middle of the transaction with the next person because I had missed my place in line. Anyway, I stopped and I went to USPS to discover that one, I don't know what the regular price would have been. It possibly could have been cheaper. It did require me to write out all of the names and the addresses, but for media, for books only, when the only thing in your package or envelope is a book or books, they have a special media rate. So it was like $4.83 or $4.84 per book instead of $15.47 and $14.85, right? That I was quoted based on the places that I was mailing the books out. So for less than the price of one at UPS, I got to mail 3. Yay! It's gonna get there a little later Monday. So Isha, you've got a package coming your way. My god sister has a package coming her way, and another individual has a package coming his way. So then, after I did that, I stopped by Britt's house to give her one of the books. And I was in the car and she wound up arriving at home while I was there. And she invited me in for lunch. And so that was nice. It was so delicious. Her husband, Fox, made this yummy combo of vegetables. It was like some kind of I don't know, pumpkin or other gourd squashy type thing with onions and peppers. It was just woo, there was mushrooms and a great delicious sauce that we ate over rice and talked and connected, and that was nice. And I meant to take another book to my sister-in-law in Clearwater, but I never made it over there because of the lunch. So sorry, Sarah. I was planning rather on going to Clearwater because I wanted to make it to the beach. And I never made it, which was very sad. My husband had offered that we could go, but by the time I got home, by the time we talked out in the driveway, it would have been like pitch black by the time we took the kids into the car and drove all the way over there. So we decided not to go. And the closest I got to the beach was doing a meditation on my TheraBody app. So I have this cool goggle thing. Um, and it's like, it's very heavy, it's intense, and it massages like here and your temples. And there are various meditations that you can do: white noise, pink, brown, whatever other colors there are. But there's also like sound bowls. And I chose a beach one. So Jacob and I had some meditation time together. And that was one of the things that we did. And we also listened to a great playlist. So good. One of the songs on that playlist was Ho'oponopono. Wait. Ho'oponopono. 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 The Hawaiian thing that I've talked about before. What was really cool about that song is that Jacob recently shared in one of his meditations in the morning that he had this realization. I guess he did not recall or remember, or maybe I hadn't told him that I've applied that song to myself. But he was like, wait a second, this song isn't about, you and somebody else that you have to forgive. It's about forgiving yourself. So I was so glad that he had that moment of clarity. And yeah, yeah, that was great. I'm so proud of him. Oh, and how he's just expanding, like he's growing in so many things and awareness. And today, after the speech I did, we spoke and he told me I did so good. But he said that he's never really done like a word before, though his brother or sister in law, etc., has. And his word was going to be something akin to like the unknown. Like, it wasn't unbecoming. It was, I don't know, it was powerful, whatever he said, however he said it. But it definitely was like not conforming to the self, right? Deconstructing or something like that. It started with a D. I don't remember. I'll have to ask him. But so proud of him. So that's that. It's 5 to 6, so I'm going to sign off, and I am going to focus on getting right my auras all fluffed up and loved up and get myself ready to receive this lovely lady that I'm going to be talking to for about an hour. And yeah, so that's what I've got. I'm going to end with the question that I often start my podcast with, which is, what if being unapologetically me is exactly what sets someone else free? It happens. It's happening all the time. So, thank you for being here with me. I will see you soon, or you will see me soon, and I remain, as ever, unapologetically. I almost forgot the word. I remain unapologetically yours.